We got a big series here. What are we doing? Like Viper in the blue and Hearttt in the red?
Why don't we put Viper in yellow?
We could. We'll put Viper in yellow. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And man, what a series. I mean, I wasn't expecting to come into the second round and see Viper with only one win, but he started rather slow. But in all honesty, Dark just has played so good. He's been so active and well prepared. So Viper 1 win. He's now up against Hearttt, who I expected to be second in the group, and Hearttt had 3 wins first round. So if Viper doesn't show up here this series, he might be near the bottom of the group.
I mean, there's a couple opportunities for Viper. Even if he loses this one 3-0, like there's still Daniel coming home. There's still a couple sets that he should probably do well in. But you would expect Viper to be top of the group.
Yep.
You wouldn't expect him to be sitting there at the bottom at 1 and 2. And yeah, it was kind of rough. But the one win he did take was on Evacuation.
Yeah.
So I expect him to come up with something here. He is playing as the Armenians. There's possibilities for the Mule Cart. And it's Viper after all. And I don't think Viper is a great matchup for Hearttt. I think Heartt's kind of like Hera light, but Hera just goes those extra couple steps usually against Viper to get the win. And I'm not certain that Heartt's got that just yet.
Yeah, agreed. I think if this was round 4, I would be leaning much heavier towards Viper. Did predict, I think, a 2-1 before the group started, but I said when Viper played Dark, no better time to get wins off him. He got 2. Would feel the same for Hearttt. Heartt's Malians, which he used in his first round against Daniel. He played very comfortable there as well. So both players had a win on evac, and they're both scouting right now to get some of the extra cows on the outside right now.
I like the cow wars on this map. You take a cow, and then your opponent takes it back, and then you take the cow again, and then you send it back, and the cow is just it's very confused cow usually, but they haven't actually found any of them of the opponent, and they really haven't found many of the neutral ones either.
I wonder if it's intentional from Hearttt. I mean, he found a couple, but he's scouting with them first before he sends them home because you don't really need them.
You could also let your opponent find all of them and then just wait on the shoreline and take them.
True.
The opponent sends them back. Yeah, you could let them gather it for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, there's no real meta for this map per se. There's just a lot of stuff that happens. Like generally speaking, you're going to see players escape with some vills to build a lumber camp, or in Viper's case, a mule cart on the outside. Slowly, players tend to want to evacuate out there, but like we've seen a lot of players just go all in and win the game with lots of damage where you in the starting area too. So it's a really tough map to play, and I think good for both of them just because they're so multitasking focused compared to some other players.
I think one of the tough things about this map is that you can full wall your base on the island if they want to push you, and then you can focus on the other areas or maybe water. But like that cracked earth terrain makes it so difficult. I've seen so many people just try and full wall this area. They get the wall up really early, and then it's just broken instantly.
Yeah,
right?
and
it's really, really tough to keep people out.
Yeah, and I think if you're full walling this area, that is likely because you're not playing towards army control. And so if you're not playing towards army control, then they're going to hit you somewhere else. Like they're going to hit you where your berries and your deer are, and the wood line too. It's hard to find some cows. So yeah, it's just a map where you've got to control a lot. There's the water aspect too, which we haven't really touched on. It's a super cool map.
So now Viper has to make a decision. Is he coming back across my crossing with those cows, or is he going back along the shoreline?
Yeah, I think... Yeah, I mean, he's going to chase them down clearly, but if Hearttt loses one, he should have his scout around. It's kind of weird. You've called it the Cow Wars, and now we're actually focusing so much more on the cows than I expected. But yeah, there they go.
This happens every game, dude.
Every game?
I think most of them. Yeah, there's maybe not a scout fight, but people are trading cows back and forth.
Well,
you wouldn't know because you only played this in all visible COD. So.
Let's not bring that up. This is a
Did you lose against Ladishek? We were trying to figure that out. Was it you against Ladishek on this map?
I have no clue what you're talking about. And Viper wins the scout war, dude. So he gets the cows, and Hearttt loses his scout. That is a painful, painful situation on this map. There's so many different areas you could look at. You need to know, does the opponent build a second dock? Are they going barracks? Are they going walls? painful situation for Hearttt there.
Yeah, and that's a lot of freedom here for Viper. And I think it's more valuable for Viper because Hearttt would be the one more likely to go into a stable early.
Mm-hmm.
Viper is probably likely to play into water control. And then like Spearman Archer or something like that, right?
Yeah,
So like keeping the scout alive and having that scouting while your opponent doesn't already gives you massive advantage. Not only the one you mentioned, but also the fact that you're not likely to make more scouts early.
So that was a situation where they both had the same amount of HP. They're doing the same amount of damage, but always one person wins there. I have my own opinion on it, but I'm curious. Some people propose that in those situations, both units just die. So it's not a coin flip. Do you like that? Or do you hate that?
No, dude. I like the coin flip because there's different perspectives on the coin flip.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like if you don't take the coin flip, that Sato's got this whole theory about it. I've talked to him about this. He's like, yeah, if you don't take the coin flip, it means you're scared, and I've already won, and like, I'm always taking the coin flip, and like, I don't know, man. I like it. It's a 50-50, and sometimes you got to gamble. You know, you got to pull the slots sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that if that would result in both units dying, it would change a lot more engagements than just the scouts. Like, a lot of people wouldn't take fights, right? We'd see more defense. So Viper sees the stable, knows that Hearttt will be adding more scouts. He's just now adding a barracks, because on water, he's going 2 docks. So that's the main difference right now. Heartt's 1 dock and fires. Viper, if he micros properly, should have water locked down. But easier said than done.
Viper, he's going to have the better eco, too. Because of the Armenian wood bonus, the mule cart efficiency, the extra fishing ship he added earlier, and the fact he went up to feudal age without loom. I'm not sure if Hearttt did as well, but I know Viper didn't.
Yeah, another thing that's notable here, because Viper has the mule carts, he actually hasn't moved anything to the outside.
Yep.
So he could do that later on, but yeah, only mule cart civs would probably be able to justify this. So I like how Viper's playing for his civ. Armenians have great galleys. That he's utilizing the mule carts, and he's also walling to the edge. So Hearttt can't easily send his scouts that direction. This is really good start for the Viper.
Yeah, really, really nice stuff for him. And 6 villagers in the queue, too. So there's still plenty of food here for him. The eco's looking solid. He's got 4 more galleys queued up, and spearmen all over the woodline. So Heartt's really going to struggle to find some value until the archers get here, and the archers are already in production. Although it looks like Viper is going to have archers and skirms of his own, just on time.
Yep. Viper Spearman gets a hit on the backside. And Hearttt probably feeling a little bit more pressure than he was hoping right now. Losing the scout early is kind of rough. He already knows he's up against galleys on water, and so he's looking for opportunities, and he really can't find any so far. And this has been already kind of textbook high-level Viper. We're not seeing any cracks in his ability so far.
I mean, in this position, I'd much rather be in Viper's spot than Heartt's.
Agreed.
Because you know that you're going to lose water. If he's got this massive galleys now, and it's Viper with his micro and his attention to detail, like Heartt's already taking damage on that fire galley, you're going to lose water, which means you're going to lose fish. He's going to add the fish. You can't find any initial damage with your scouts, although killing that archer is really, really nice from Hearttt. But now he's taking damage from the TC as well.
Yeah, super tough to keep up with it. We saw Viper lose the archer and lose the scout, and then we see Hearttt lose the scout to the TC. Just so many different things to look at, and they're at different areas. But this is where the snowball could start for Hearttt. He has fletching on the way, and if those archers snipe the spears from Viper, there's a lot of exposed eco here. This could start to snowball on him.
This bothers me so much. Like, Viper's like, okay, I needed a stable. No, I need a second range. I'm only going to build it with 1 villager. You know, like, this big army is coming in. If I lose this area, that's the one way that I lose the game. I'm just going to make this with 1 vill, because anything more than 1 would be super inefficient. That's a classic Viper move.
Yeah. I mean, the eco isn't exactly looking clean for him either. He did win the cow wars earlier, so he's got cows underneath his TC. He doesn't have any farms yet. Heartt's already added farm eco. And Viper, he didn't kill the fish yet either. The fishing ships are they're not working, but they're moving around. So I like Viper's start. I like his resources collected. I like all of that. But Hearttt has had a pretty smooth game. And even just being faster to a couple knights or 1 upgrade in Castle Age could decide things. We're seeing a lot of Viper's army just stand at home right now. And a lot of his vills about to run out of trees.
He did add some fire galleys, too, to help out against Heartt's Navy.
Okay,
So he's got
smart.
the galleys, he's got the fire galleys. He is going to hunt down those fish. I mean, they were taking fish from a very long way away, and here come the scouts. They're engaging now against the archers and the villagers. There's a galley there as well, and Heartt can't really do much more damage there. I think the idea for him is now going to be Castle Age, as he's fully walled his base. I mean, I say fully walled, but if those galleys take a peek at this palisade on the shoreline, it's not going to be fully walled for very long.
Yeah, Heartt is... I mean, there's been multiple groups working, and he's just struggled to get the most of those scouts there. I think if he would have survived with all 5, I'd feel better about his situation. But he's trying to compete on water. It's not working.
Ooh, 2 more archers dying from Heartt. Ooh. Viper's Woodline. Little sloppy there.
Yeah. Just so many units from Viper. So that's been Viper's approach. It's just... Some people try and do more with less, and that's kind of standard for Viper. But Viper has just made more, right? Big Navy, big land army, big eco now. And for the first time, he finally evacuates to the food.
Yep, unqueued a lot of villagers too, so 600 food. I mean, if he stops producing archers with 7 on gold, he can go up at about the same time as Heartt. He's also going for a market here. And like you said, evacuating to the other area. Now it's suddenly Heartt that has to worry about getting his eco hit. And he's waiting for Castle Age, but it's a long way away, man.
The funny thing is, so Viper's scouting isn't the best at the moment. He doesn't know Heartt is walled. He doesn't even know that Heartt has a tower up on this outside area. But if he's controlling the crossing with Navy, he can just walk behind Heartt's walls.
Ooh,
into
he's
Heartt's
going out
eco
for
there.
mule cart into Heartt's archers in his base.
Oh, man.
Viper notices it right away. Okay, that's good. That could have been a disaster if he didn't see that right away. He's got some archers back here, but it's only 3. So we need some good micro here from Viper to keep himself safe. This is good pressure from Heartt, and it'll keep Viper distracted.
That's really good micro from Viper. He didn't actually take a single hit there on his ranged units. He's got 27 military, 47 eco. Castle Age time's pretty much the same. Feels like Heartt needs some damage here in early castle. So otherwise, it's going to be really tough.
Now. Yeah, this is going to be really tough regardless.
I think this may be a situation where siege, crossbow... Oh, man, Heartt's not keeping up. Heartt's not keeping up. His archers run into the skirms and the archers. I think he was reacting to Viper's other army.
He was busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was busy. And Viper just snipes all of the deer near that mill. That's beautiful from him. He's also taking out one of the fire galleys, so he doesn't have to worry about his fish as much, and he can maybe start adding some more fish. But there is a fire galley in the north. That's really nice from Heartt. Just try and get some damage.
Yeah. The Viper dropping a stable, so he may consider a knight or 2. But this is what I said. The ranged units now can just walk across this crossing. And Heartt, he's going to need something at home now. He's got no offensive pressure whatsoever. If you don't have offensive pressure against Viper, Viper's going to boom, dude. He's going to get a massive lead economically.
I can see what Heartt was going for, right? He had multiple small armies coming in. He had to keep Viper's pressure forward so his eco wasn't disrupted while he was on the way to Castle Age. But like, it would have been so nice to have 15 archers right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So that you could actually upgrade, right? You look at the KD, and that just tells you the story of the game. Like, all of his archer armies have been crushed as soon as they come in.
Yeah, and Viper's eco should be super smooth now. He dropped the fortified church at home to potentially, well, to get the first relic, and then he can start to pick up the rest. Second TC's in a good spot. Ranged army's still something that Heartt has to respect in the back. And someone just said Viper was playing dead in the first week. He was faking as if he wasn't going to be able to bring this level, but this is Viper, dude. This is the Viper everyone wants to see.
Actually, I think he was playing Dark.
Oh, true. Yeah, true. I like that.
Third TC from Viper. Third TC, he's found the villager in the south, so the market gets denied from Heartt. Like, everywhere you look, it's just annoying, right? Viper's got an army in the passage there between the 2 land masses. He's got his army home defending. I think Town Watch would go really hard for him because being caught by surprise is basically the way you lose this game.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's even clearing up the scouts that Heartt still had alive. I think Heartt forgot about those things.
The thing I'd say about like present day Viper, where he's not as consistent, right? A lot of it for me comes down to the openings. If he falls behind, things can snowball against him these days, against a lot of the top talents. when they're prepped. But, like, Viper gets ahead of you. You're not coming back, dude. You're not coming back, especially when there's this much multitasking. 3 TCs. He's ahead in every single aspect of the game. Hearttt is maybe just trying to ease into the series a little bit. Maybe this is game 2 or game 3. He already taps out, but just wants to get warmed up here.
I mean, that's always been his mentality, right? It's when I'm ahead, get further ahead. That's why sometimes he doesn't execute the killing blow when you think he should.
Yeah.
Because he knows that as long as he just keeps getting incremental little advantages, it's going to snowball. And right now, I mean, it's a fairly decent advantage. It's more villagers for him, better eco overall in terms of res collected. He's got the fish as well. I mean, Heartt's still in it, but he's going to have to do some damage pretty soon.
I want Hearttt to go siege in the middle right now. Like, pressuring the middle, especially when you see 2 TCs, is the way you come back in this game. And Viper loses a couple vills. He doesn't have a force that can deal with that right now because there's skirms in the mix. But yeah, forward siege, then maybe even a forward castle from Hearttt. If Viper has 2 of his TCs here, he's producing vills in an area that's not really conducive for the late game.
Yeah, I think Viper shifted his focus onto stone a while back. He was thinking castle, and now look at the res he's floating.
Yeah.
He's got 800 wood in the bank. Like, you could put that into fishing ships. He's already got 9. You could put it into farms. You could put it into whatever. Right now, he's investing into siege, but a little bit sloppy here. However, Hearttt runs his army again in, like, the same spot as last time into Viper's defensive military. And Viper's going to clear that up again.
And Viper's Knight also has killed 2 vills now and delayed that other TC. Viper even has the Warrior Priest there. He might snag the Relic knowing him, so... Yeah, I think Hearttt needs, especially now that Viper's added in some Scorpions, Hearttt needs Mangonels. Priority number 1. Ballistics is always great. Usually you want that a little faster with the Malians, but it's been a rough go of things. That'll be in 20 seconds at least. So there's that too. Skirms with ballistics against only crossbows and a random scorpion. That could do something here.
Viper has been housed for a while.
Yes.
Something is going on. Okay, finally getting the house up. He's placing more farms. And he's getting his eco set up behind this. Heartt's eco still looking okay, all things considered. He's walled off the villagers, and he's going to complete that 3rd town center, but still, the knight is prowling around, and this has been anything but easy for him.
Viper's really struggling to spend his res at the moment. He's got crazy resources, and like, it was looking so clean and comfortable, but he has allowed Hearttt some opportunities back into this game. This is a good engagement for Hearttt. I think Viper's plan was to build a castle here, but he just does not have the army, and panic times for Viper. Does he just drop the castle anyways, or does he evacuate?
I think, like, I don't know if the castle is necessary up here. You might want to place it forward in the south.
Yeah, I mean...
all of the army is here from Hearttt. All of it. And you can defend this kind of with siege and maybe another fortified church. But yeah, you got to spend your res.
Yeah.
He's going for a 4th TC, Tristan. Like, it's a little weird, isn't it?
It just fell off with the control. Just wasn't able to keep the army count up. Maybe wasn't sure what army to make. Maybe this is a product of being the Armenians, because you feel kind of stuck on range units here. But Heartt's still in this game. Heartt's on 3 TCs. I think the Malians are definitely slightly easier to play the longer the game goes on. But Viper should be able to push this back. I was expecting a little bit more Knight production, a little bit more activity from him here.
Helm Watch would have gotten him so much value. He's been caught off guard by so many of these armies coming in.
Yeah, true.
And that one, again, runs into the mule cart, right? Yeah. And there's the forward castle I was talking about, south. Now, you could put that in between those 2 TCs. I think that's a little bit more of a greedy play, but this one controls the stone, controls the gold, is a little bit of a safer option outside of Heartt's vision.
Dude, Viper's getting the relic in the south of the map. So that
and that knight is still going crazy, man. I think this is the same guy that denied the market and the TC.
Yeah, it is. It is. And Hearttt can't keep up with it. I think Viper probably knows, yeah, sure, I'm taking some losses on the front, but that knight is doing so much more. Hearttt is building his own castle. He didn't see it. And does Viper see it? Okay, Viper should delete that castle.
Viper? I mean, delete it if for no other reason, then you got to get that relic back.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Well, I mean,
he can go along the edge of the map, Tristan.
Who? Where?
He's going Viper, the relic. There's
Oh.
a hole.
That's
He
funny.
made a U-turn.
That's funny. Well, I gotta say, I mean, well played to Hearttt to still stay alive in this game. I just kind of wrote him off as dead come early castle age. He stayed in it. The castle goes up. That's good. Still an amazing position for Viper. Viper's now building a castle. Viper will go imp. And so Hearttt needs more than what he's dishing out right now. He's still doing a lot. He's killing lots of eco with this ranged army. But I think he needs some land presence on the other side now.
Huge shout out to the macro behind this from Hearttt as well, because he's been just trying to get damage and trying to force Viper back into his base, managing multiple armies. And he still has 82 vills, not a lot of idle TC time, all things considered, and a decent amount of farms as well. He goes for the castle in the center because he knows this army is coming back across from Viper. However, I'm not certain that those vills are going to be there in time. With these 2 knights and 3 scorpions, if Viper actually sends the knights at full speed instead of the speed of Scorpion, he should be able to deny that.
Yeah, I mean, Hearttt will have 2 of his own knights. I guess we'll see. It doesn't seem like Viper's really prioritizing that with his focus right now.
I mean, he's on the way up to imp, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's making imp decisions. Like, this Stonewall from Viper's really smart. There's a gap. Oh, man. And Hearttt gets spotted. He does drop a wall.
Oh, no, but the Scorpions can line up and snipe all those vills. If Viper goes to the right side there, he can line up and snipe all of them. He's not going to.
Yeah, just a little bit too late. Well, I mean, that's a good castle for Hearttt. And again, like, he needs consistent pressure somewhere. Now with a couple Gabetto mixed in, he could pressure Viper's starting area. But with Viper a minute away from imp and Hearttt not even on the way up, I'm not seeing an easy way for Hearttt to stop things from unraveling if Viper goes Treb push.
Viper trying to stonewall in the south. He knows the Gabettos are coming. Didn't notice that. And the blacksmith is at 9 HP, so that's not going to work.
Yeah, I think those walls will eventually go up for Viper. It's annoying, but it is something he should eventually be able to deal with. And he should still be able to Treb down Heartt's castle. Hearttt clicks up to imp.
Instant elite composite?
I think instant Trebs. I don't even know what the elite upgrade costs, honestly.
It's like, it's not that expensive. It's like 600. Oh, he's actually making Dromans. Let's go, dude. So many people would have forgotten about that and then done it, 20 minutes later when they see a cannon galleon from their opponent.
Yeah.
But he's making them, and that'll take a lot of the farming away from Hearttt.
Yeah, I mean,
which is insane.
That's crazy. I mean, Heartt's got TCs in range of Dromans. Like, that'll be really rough for him. And so it's just another example of it, right? Viper thinking about that extra step that he can do. He's already ahead on land with the Trebs coming out and the composite bowman, but now he'll use the water control. Hearttt just got such an army problem right now. He's going to try skirms, but even though these bowmen aren't seen as the strongest unit in the world, they ignore armor. Skirms are strong because of the armor, and yeah, Hearttt taps out.
Yeah, he knows. So game 1 goes to Viper. I have to ask before we get away from this unit, what do you personally think about the elite composite bowman upgrade? Because, like, I've seen it be gotten a lot, and it's probably like the worst elite upgrade I've ever seen.
Let me answer this in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
In a world where Latus and Olbuk exist with the stats that they have, getting extra attack from relics, 95 HP on the Olbuk, 6 pierce armor when Samurai only have 5.
With Latus.
Yes.
Pierce armor. Extra attack.
In a world where that's the case, this unit is just not in the same wavelength. I know it's a ranged unit, but like I don't know if the people who balanced the Poles and the Lithuanians got fired, and then they brought in a new guy for the Armenians. But it's not great. The thing I will say, because I do try and go bad for the Armenians a little bit, their comp is super cheap, and you can get like 90 pop, 100 pop pretty easily. So
I think the reason people get it is just for the production speed. Like, it's -2 seconds on producing every single one if you get elite.
I didn't even know that.
That's all I can see. It's +5 HP, like 1 melee armor, and then -2 seconds production time.
Yeah, that's not great.
It's not, dude. It's bad.
But the Armenian eco is ridiculous. And so it's a slippery slope. Viper probably won the game more so because of the eco than anything. More wood, more food, more gold. And so Viper fans who are shaking in fear after the first round are feeling a little bit better after that. And here we are, game number 2. So Hearttt has picked the Hindustanis here relatively early. And we've got Ravines, and then Viper goes for the Vietnamese. I was really surprised Hearttt picked this map. I know that he loves land and he doesn't like water, and that aspect would suit him, but I thought he would maybe go for like Rocky Forest or Kilimanjaro, something with more aggressive elements to it than Ravines.
Yeah. The outposts kind of changed the game on this map, don't they? Like, you got this super exposed area where you have to go out for the wood and everything, but your opponent's going to see you coming if you go for pressure, right? So it gives them time to quick wall. It gives them time to prepare as well. And Viper, actually, in terms of Ravines maps, Viper's got a pretty nice one here. He's in the corner, which is great. You can kind of wall yourself in there. Hearttt doesn't have that luxury. And there is a lot of walling potential on this one.
Now, that is the case. But if you rely on walls and you don't have a lot of army against Hindustanis, it could be kind of dangerous,
right?
It
can break through. Yep.
Especially when some of those walls could be on this hill here. So I think Viper did kind of learn that against ACCM and WWC2, and like everybody knows.
I was thinking the same thing, dude. I was thinking, this is how he lost in WWC. Okay.
Yeah. So like that was a pretty big lesson for Viper, because I think that was also in game 7. Of like the semi or the quarters or something. So I would imagine he still makes army here. But I would think this would maybe be scouting the Cav Archers for Vietnamese in an ideal world. But can you go Cav Archers if the Hindustanis have the potential camels on the other side?
I think you can. It all depends on the timings, right?
Yeah.
And how much damage was done in feudal. It depends, Tristan. Like, if you get to Castle Age first and he hasn't done much damage to you in Feudal Age, I think Cav Archers are perfectly acceptable, right?
Yeah, agreed.
But if you get there behind and he's still pressuring you and he's got, a superior eco with camels all over the place, you're never going to get the numbers that you need.
Yeah.
He's just going to keep pressuring you.
Like, Viper needs to field enough army to at least match Heartt's army so he doesn't get overwhelmed in Feudal. If he does that and he doesn't rely heavily on walls, I really like Vietnamese for him. CA... Or even just light cav to contest for map control and booming. But, like, I think both civs late game are insane. Imp Camel for Hindustanis, faster gold mining, Ghulams, Bombard Cannons, 9-range hand cannons, Full Hussar, Skirm, and then Vietnamese Halb, Imp Skirm, Bombard Cannons, 450 HP Elephants. Like, yeah, they picked good civs for this type of map.
Dude, there should be a civ where, like, you can lure a deer to your TC, like, but once every like 2 minutes. Like it's just like some guy in the TC is whispering at the deer. You're like, come here.
Oh, like it's calling it.
Yeah, like a slow one. You know how like the shepherds slowly shepherd something in?
Yeah. Now, do you have
more time to scout at the beginning?
Do you have to garrison your Ville so it's at the top of the TC with the call?
No. One of them is just whispering, dude. That would be terrible.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, if it called deer to the TC, but you had one idle Ville, that would be some level of balance. I don't know if it'd be worth it.
I mean, if it's once every 2 minutes, it's not really like
that wouldn't be
broken,
good,
right?
Yeah.
It just gives you an extra like 20 seconds of scouting time over your opponent, but it would be funny. Imagine the guy in there like, come on. Come on.
Let me just say, I would be scared of what else would come if that would be added.
Oh yeah. Like you see your opponent's monk slowly drawn towards your TC.
Like, I'm just like, if they decide that's cool, I think this game ends up more like Age of Mythology pretty soon. So, which I don't really know a ton about. I'm not dissing that, but yeah. Well, resources all over the map here: stone, gold, wood, whatever. But the main thing I'll say, because I saw a game where in late Castle Age, someone kind of had an oh crap moment. You've got 8 tiles around your TC, and you really have to look for the extras. So like Hearttt, he just missed that 1 gold to the north, which would probably be his safest.
Who's getting the Feudal Age first, Viper or Hearttt?
Oh, I think it defaults to alphabetical if they're the same time. So I think it would be Viper. I actually do not know if that's the case.
I think it's Hearttt.
And what's your reason?
I think that the timer is going a little bit quicker for him.
Oh, you're trying to compare that way.
I'm trying to look back and forth. Left,
I
right,
think it
left,
is Hearttt.
right.
I think it is Hearttt, but I just got dizzy doing that. I think Hearttt is actually slightly faster somehow.
Yeah, well, I've got eyes that can look at both directions at once, like a frog.
Oh, man, there is
They
a
don't
purpose.
come back.
Yeah, there you go,
Oh,
dude.
you got there first. Let's go.
You called it.
My frog powers.
Wow, so Viper's opening range. All right, so he's opening range. He knows exactly where Hearttt is, but he's pushing into just that last deer here. That's weird. Viper, he's Vietnamese. He went forward, didn't scout around his opponent's base, and then came back. Like, why go forward in the first place if you're not going to confirm their opening? That's a little different. And stable from Hearttt. Hearttt scout is forward, looking around Viper's base. And he also missed the opening, so he won't see this. But this is going to be trash from Viper. This is Spear Skirm, which I was not expecting.
Hearttt took the downhill hit from that scout too. So that's not great. I mean, he's not able to track this army coming across, and it's only 2 spearmen and a skirmisher right now as Viper sees those other scouts, and he's going to pull that back. But still, decent setup here for Viper, and like I said, he's got the corner. So if he gets the walls up, Heartt's got to be careful here. I mean, if he doesn't keep these walls open, Viper could get a really, really nice setup while distracting him forward with Spear Skirm.
Ooh, sloppy.
And that's a very, very annoying preposition, and that is really bad from Viper to lose that Skirm.
Yep, sloppy. Again, though, like
But
Viper
doesn't kill it.
Viper's scout is under his TC right now. Like, he's not even using his scout to block walls. So it's just been... It's been an interesting opening. It's not necessarily bad, but not the opening that I was expecting from him. Hearttt, well played to adapt to this once he saw it. We'll get his walls
And
down.
the
We'll
archer
drop the
range is
range.
denied, dude. Like
he-
it's delayed at least. It's delayed by about 40 seconds.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
archer
yeah.
range. He didn't kill that third skirmisher coming across either. Like Hearttt is distracted with something right now, and this is not fantastic for him. It could have been so much better.
I definitely feel like Hearttt is... He's a bigger confidence player than a lot of people realize. And not just like in general, but on any given day. And with certain sets, like anytime Heartt's up against Leary, Hera, Viper, all those guys, I just think if Hearttt loses the first game, it's not going to be his day, right? Like he needs that confidence from some results early. That first game from Viper maybe even dictated his own strategy. Like Viper right now is like, just go Spear Skirm. I don't need to be aggressive. I'll just adapt. Because if I adapt well, I'm going to beat this guy.
I think
we'll see.
the evidence supports that as well. Remember the 6-0 at Red Bull in one day?
Yep.
Didn't lose a game, kept rolling, right? It's the same for a lot of other sets. Like if Hearttt goes down the first game against those big dogs, it's just going to be a struggle. But still, I mean, he's in a perfectly acceptable position right now, despite the things that happened earlier. And Hindustanis, I think, are a little bit better than Vietnamese overall. So if this continues, should be advantage Hearttt.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of army from Viper that doesn't really accomplish a lot right now. It accomplishes defense, but do you want to be in a position where you're making all this army to defend when your opponent can just run away from you? I'm not so sure. There's an argument that Hearttt should make a single skirm now, that he could just use this army, micro around Viper's base, which is still kind of open, and then Viper's army can't really do much unless it wants to run through the TC. If it gets past the TC, it's a nightmare for Hearttt, but that's tough
I
to
mean, yeah,
justify.
but running past the TC against a player of Heartt's level is just really risky. You're one wall away from losing half the HP on your army because you're bumping up against the wall and you're taking damage from the TC. As Hearttt takes out another outpost, he's going to take them all out.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do what you can, I guess. That's funny to me. He's just taking away Viper's outpost. Really needs to get the hill there. The thing that I'm not seeing from Hearttt, though, is a lot of confidence he can go kill Vils. Dude, he could just run right in with scouts right now, and Viper's got so much exposed eco. He doesn't feel comfortable separating his scouts and running in to get damage right now.
I mean, this could be just Hearttt looking at the Civ matchup and going like, I don't need to do that. I'm going to
Maybe.
keep this army busy there's no reason for me to like potentially throw my military.
Yeah.
And I have the mobility with the scouts and the vision. So I'm just going to keep running around. Like he can't really get into
This
my
is good.
base.
Yeah, this is good. Like, yeah, Viper can't get into his base. The skirms had enough protection to be able to run back home. Now you've got to make Viper work. And Viper has spears on the map, but if Hearttt micros properly, Hearttt should be able to get Vil kills. Viper's going to lose one.
Even with wheelbarrow, that's a dead Vil.
Yeah. And Viper's army currently doing very little, but could if it runs past, I guess.
Another one? No, can't quite get that. Good micro here from Hearttt. Viper looking for a way in. He's not going to find it. He's just going to find more palisade walls.
Yeah.
He could deny the farms a little bit, but there's a lot of skirms there from Hearttt.
Yeah, this is great from Hearttt. This is exactly what I wanted. And it brings me back to the opening from Viper. It is being lackluster. You need to either be fully walled right away or you got to have some mobility yourself here. Hearttt kills 3 Vils.
There goes the wheelbarrow advantage right there.
Yep.
Gone.
And, I mean, there's still more, dude. Like, this is just... Viper does not have an easy answer to this situation right now because he doesn't have his own scouts on the field, and Heartt's micro has been perfect against any spearmen that come out.
Yeah, and this was just a result of, you know, Hearttt managing to split that main army away. Viper thought he could do damage, and now Viper is just trying to defend with quick walls and spearmen. Sometimes that works, but against a player like Hearttt, most of the time it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Hearttt is going to run around, use that mobility, and try and find that damage, which he's already gotten. The 3 villagers is huge.
What
And he's on the way up to Castle Age first.
Can we talk about the fact Viper sent a forward Vil? I think by mistake. Viper still doesn't have the gold to click up. He's got 600 wood. This is just... hasn't been as crisp from Viper as we saw in the first game. Again, in the first game, Viper got off to a really hot start, like right away, and then he adapted from there. But now, Heartt's got the lead. I'm very curious to see if how Hearttt will play with this position.
Yeah, I think you go Elite Skirm, Bodkin, and then can you go for a forward siege?
I think
into like Scorpion Elephant.
You can, dude.
That'd be really, really good.
You can, but I think that's just not Heartt's style. Heartt's going to drop those TCs, get the Vils rolling, take the lead there. It'll be interesting. Viper doesn't... I don't think he realizes just how many skirms are being made right now. So as Heartt's scouts are stuck, I think he tried to shift queue and they didn't obey, which happens sometimes. Yeah, Viper is not expecting to be out skirmed. He's going to look at that and be like, what? 14 skirms? I thought it was like 8.
Yeah, and he sees Castle Age here, so he's kind of got to fight, right? He's got to take as much value as he can before Bodkin and Elite Skirm comes in. Still not a great army here for Viper to fight this, and he's going to lose most of it, so he'll need to try and delay until his own Castle Age is in. He did add the stable, so could add some knights to potentially push this back. Then, of course, the 3 ranges for Cav Archers. One of those ranges is in a really rough spot, though, forward.
If Hearttt is thinking about this, he may dive underneath this TC. Once you have Elite Skirm, if Viper's just walling like that, I would love to see it. You're pretty well defended at home. Now, players don't want to lose their army control, but dude, I mean, make Viper work for some defense here. Just run on through. This could be tough.
He didn't have the armor upgrade. He's waiting for it to come in.
Yeah. He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it.
Kind of brutal. Yeah, so he waits for the armor upgrade to come in. Then he dives underneath here. Viper going for some more houses. It's still not a great situation for Viper as the camel comes in at the same time. Hearttt also added the siege workshop. And here comes the mangonel. Viper forced to go for a knight, double Cav Archer. But like, how long can he actually produce units with this eco?
Yeah, you really can't. I mean, the reason I'm confused is like, if you open scouts, it forces your opponent away from skirms, and then you can go CA. But Hearttt staying on the skirm numbers, and skirm being his best option to kind of match his opponent's skirmishers, this puts him in a pretty comfortable position. 2 TCs for Hearttt. The siege is coming for Hearttt, as you said, to pressure the range. At just almost the opposite of the first game. Viper had the control, seemed like Viper would never let it slip, and now it's Heartt's turn.
Viper is adding that second town center now. He does have wheelbarrow, remember, so the resources collected not too different, but I mean, these skirms are just giving insane value. Hopefully Hearttt can see this army coming in, though, as Viper creeps around with a couple knights and a couple Cav Archers. Should be able to snipe that mangonel. He's on top of it. The monk is not out yet. Actually, the monk just came out. Wow. This could be really, really good for Hearttt.
Yep. Hearttt doesn't get the conversion. He is losing his skirms and gets to back away. And I think Heartt's telling himself right now, let's get that eco back on track. I was expecting more of the 3 TCs. He's actually on stone, dude. He wants a castle. He might stay 2 TCs and aim for a castle where Viper's range is right now.
Could be good. Also, Ghulam's not the worst thing against Cav Archers if you get the second armor upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
And a good rating unit, of course. And I think it would be correct in assuming Viper could never keep producing knights with this economy.
Yeah, agreed. The Viper, I think, is in a spot where he doesn't have the army to engage against the main force. Not yet, anyways. It might get to that point. And now he wants to use the mobility. Now, before, when it was feudal age units, Viper couldn't really justify the dive. Now he's thinking about it. Hearttt will see this.
Notices.
Monks go for conversions. Viper splits.
And he shifts back over to the Cav Archers with the conversions, but it doesn't matter. Viper snipes both of those. Really nice. Didn't even take any damage.
Yeah. There was a lot of idle time for Viper. He garrisoned as well underneath the TC. Well played. Only 10 Vils behind for the Snake. 2 TCs for him. His army count's pretty high. Heartt's still waiting on where he wants to build that castle. We'll see.
Difficult decision, right? Like, he's making an outpost now, so he wants more vision at the front here. The Cav Archers are over on the left side. They can't get through.
Yet.
But they can harass the woodline a little bit.
I do not trust those trees. With villagers around like that, it feels like they might chop through, but Heartt's double-check that. And Hearttt places his castle foundation. Well, think about the gold, though, right? Like, think about the gold control for him. He is going to run out. He doesn't see the gold in the north. Think if he sees the gold in the north, he's not under as much pressure. And he also doesn't have the army count right now to necessarily confirm he can build a forward castle. Not to mention if he build a forward castle.
I don't know if he sees the gold under his TC, honestly.
Yeah, true.
He might not realize that that's there.
Viper saw the castle foundation. And Hearttt now builds a TC. This is where outposting around the map is really critical for Hearttt, if he wants to expand there. Viper's got the score lead. So that Heartt's had the score lead for most of Castle Age. Hearttt might now be starting to think that he's let this slip a little bit, but he's still got a 10 villager lead, which is not bad at all.
Viper had a really, really good engagement with the Knights in the CA. Coming around the backside there against the Mangonome was clutch. And he got the 2 monks, too.
And this army, like, there's enough Knights and Cav Archers to clear everything Hearttt has right now. Like, Heartt's army can't break Viper, and Camel and Skirm defense won't work because this combo of Cav Archers and Knights for Viper is just so deadly. There's still armor missing on the Camels and the Skirms. And sure, Hearttt gets a conversion there, but he still knows this is a problem, man. He needs an answer to that.
Ballistics is coming in. Ballistics is coming in. If these Cav Archers get in with Ballistics, Hearttt could lose a lot of villagers. Now, Hearttt has had some really good macro behind this. I mean, he's got handcart already. Heavy plow, bow saw, farm numbers looking solid, right? His 3rd TC just goes up. He's got 69 villagers. Less idle TC time than Viper, but still, if you can't control the middle of the map with your army, your eco is super exposed. So he needs to get the job done with these skirms, and then maybe get some distractions in with the Ghulams.
Yeah, I just wonder, with the presence of Knights and that many Cav Archers, can you justify Ghulams? Feels like it's great in Imp, but in Castle Age, I'd almost like them better for raiding than anything. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, just raid.
Main army.
Yeah. Yeah, and the
They
skirms
die against this main army.
Viper hasn't been able to jump with his Knights on the skirms. A really close game here. Really, really close. But remember, stakes, it's live win count. We have Hearttt with 3, Viper with 2. So these two are probably going to be 1 and 2 in the group based on expectations. This is a big one.
From Viper's POV, you see these skirms. I don't know if you want to break that wall and go in. You might want to just get into a better position overall with your army. Viper also exploring a little bit on the right side, maybe thinking about grabbing the relics. Heartt's already gotten 1 of those.
Yeah, Hearttt should be able to get 2 as well. He's got that 1 pretty close. It's so weird how sometimes you'll see Viper with all of his units grouped up, patrolling in the same spot. I never remember him doing that in the past.
No.
The Knights and the Knight, the Skirm, the Mangonel, they're all just grouped together there. Super weird.
2 Ghulams stuck. Come on, guys. You can figure it. 3. There's 3 Golems in there.
Oh,
you can
God.
figure it out. Come
Oh,
on.
God.
Come on.
I hate it when that happens, man. But that, you see what that castle presence just did, though? Viper has to respect that more Golems could come. He doesn't know if they will, but he has to respect it. And he can't go that direction. So if Hearttt can get another castle up more towards the right side where Viper CA are, he could kind of cramp Viper in.
It's going imp, though.
And keep him stuck in here. Yeah.
Damn, dude. I mean, they've both done such a nice job with the ecos behind this. Look at the eco upgrades. So nice for both of them. You would expect that from the Vietnamese, but from Hearttt with Hindustanis, super impressive. And honestly, res collected already 2K ahead.
Can Viper go Cavalier here? We had a game with Andy and Daniel where in the same matchup, the Vietnamese player went Cavalier because the opponent was going Golems and Skirms.
Yep.
Like, it feels weird to go Cavalier against Hindustanis, but...
Cavalier's a really cheap upgrade, and it comes in pretty quick. Whereas, like, heavy camel takes so long, and if you want to switch back into camel from Skirm or Golem, it's going to take forever, right? Hindustani's losing Halb kind of made them a little bit weak to that early cavalry transition.
Yeah.
And I know it happened a long time ago, but still feeling the ramifications of that. People are just so afraid of camels, they don't think of it a lot.
Yep. Hearttt clicks up. He will be 20 seconds behind Viper to Imp, but he has a 25 villager lead. 1 relic. Viper doesn't have any, which is kind of unlike him. Hearttt is also outposting and spreading out units all around the map. And if Hearttt can hold this position and fully upgrade his comp with the Hindustanis, I think Viper has some big problems.
There's stable coming up from Viper. He teched into light cav. Decent economy with a decent Imperial Age time, but Hearttt is just not far enough behind for Viper to push this back.
Agreed.
Also, Vietnamese castles are jank, right? So Viper's going to have to really think about where he wants to put this castle if he wants to get into an extended Treb war.
Yeah, +2 armor comes in. This is where the Hindustani Golems actually feel pretty strong in Castle Age. And Viper's making light cav, but yeah, that's a castle.
Like
this is not a castle.
I like it.
That is... I like it too from this position, but only because everywhere else is just bad. Which isn't, I guess, a positive
you can't put it
situation.
Forward.
Yeah.
You cannot put it forward to protect that gold or the stone or anything. You can't. Not with Vietnamese. Not in the position you're in. You have to put it defensive. This is going to be a slow pushback game if you win this one.
Yeah, Viper's going to lose a lot of army before upgrades here. This is a great fight for Hearttt. He'll snipe the siege, and the castle might not actually go up. That's just at 50% with 3 villagers. If Viper doesn't have an army to defend it anymore.
It'll go up somehow. It's Viper.
Yeah.
He adds another villager on. Just one more. Sends one more villager. She'll get the job done.
I mean, Viper reaches Imp with only 20 Cav Archers. And the castle won't complete. And Hearttt now will reach Imp. He can go for Elite Golem. He can go for more Skirm upgrades. I mean, Viper's got nothing, dude. He's at 100 pop versus 160.
And the Skirms are going crazy. The Skirms have 23 kills on them, so really high value from this. You don't care if you lose this army, you can replace it. Elite Golem is on the way, and Viper calls the GG.
Wow. Great
Nice
response
job.
from Hearttt, dude. And that is the type of game that Hearttt can play. If you give him control, if he plays this long, land, adaptive type of game, he's going to dominate. And typically, Viper, obviously very good on every setting. He's able to take control, but... I don't know. From my perspective, Viper's opening didn't do him any favors. He made a lot of army in Feudal that didn't accomplish a ton, lost some eco, and then in Castle Age was never really able to get the map control away from Hearttt.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He didn't have the spears at home to defend against the scouts, right?
Yeah.
Once you lose those 3 vills and you're constantly dealing with the scouts there, I think it's a really difficult spot. The spear skirm forward is great if you keep all of their attention forward at their own base.
Yeah. I think
if it's at your base, suddenly you have some issues.
Agreed. Also, it's not always easy to think in that situation. My opponent's going spear skirm. They have more skirms than me. Let's beat them with skirms. Like that thinking from Hearttt was very interesting. Especially against Vietnamese, I wouldn't want to go skirm. I think what I would want to do is I would want to go to Gulam faster. But if you go to Gulam faster, then you delay your TCs, you delay your eco. And so the timings that Hearttt switched into the Gulam just felt perfect there. So 1-1. Heartt's got 4 wins now, live standings. Viper's got 2. And we go to the third game, which will be on Viper's home map. Game 3, Viper goes for his number 1 pick, Portuguese. You called it. And then Byzantines for Heartt, which we expected as well. So a lot of multitasking on this map compared to the previous game. You've got the 4 pawns to worry about. You've got the land to balance out. Feels like it's more of an adaptive game, which I think is good for Viper based on how Evacuation went. But obviously, very different than Evacuation.
I like the fact that neither one has a safe pawn either. They're in the middle generation.
Yeah.
So they don't have the corner. They have to choose which pawn to go to. And then once you're there, it's pretty hard to wall it off. And it's pretty hard to prevent some forward dock shenanigans. And that honestly should favor the Byzantines, I think, a little bit more. Because their fires fight at more of a, more than a 1-to-1 ratio against the opponents.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to win the 1v1s, and your docks have a little bit of extra HP. So if you get that forward dock up, it could be big trouble.
Scouting is so important here. Someone the other day, we had the never-ending discussion on deer pushing, right? Everyone's watching Arabia 9 times out of 10, so they just see deer push, deer push, deer push. And I was just like, listen, you don't want deer pushing. You got to add reasons to scout. These days, people just assume their opponent's opening and adapt to it because the meta's figured out on Arabia. This is a map, dude, where that scout changes everything. You got to know where the dock is, where they're opening, are they sneaking a vill?
I like sending, on 4 lakes, I like sending my scout forward without deer pushing at all to one of the ponds. Just a pond further away from you, you might find their vill. And if you kill their vill building the dock, it's already GG. It's over, man.
You know what I saw? I forget the player. I think it might have been Dark, but I think more people should do it. So if you want that deer, which is natural, use one of your sheep to scout the whole map.
Viper's going.
And so I would love to see that. Viper's going to go to the south now.
Yeah, and Heartt's coming over with the scout. But Viper Scout is there. Nice.
So the example, at this stage of the game, if you had taken one sheep, scout the full right pawn from Viper's position, that sheep would be arriving to the northern area. So you would know their dock location before you even find their base. I think there's an argument to try that. But you could also just lose your scout or use your scout.
Yeah. Or you could lose your sheep. I mean, you could just get unlucky.
Yeah, that's true. Did you see the fake forward dock fishing ship from Nikov?
No.
Okay, so
did he put it on so that there was a flag on the dock and the other guy thought he was fully investing?
So he was Lithuanians versus Hera's Japanese. Hera does the right thing and scouts the shoreline with a fish. Finds Nikov has just built the dock there. Nikov puts a fishing ship in the dock and doesn't do anything else with it. And Hera goes double dock defense and queues up 4 fires to defend from it.
I've been telling people to do this for years, dude. The power of the flag is insane.
It was so good. And I really think, I think it will continue to happen. And then we'll have someone faking that they're faking. And the other guy thinks he's not fake. It's this whole thing. But Hera didn't have any land presence then because he defended from a forward fishing ship. It was so sick.
In AoE 4, when you place the building foundations, regardless of how much you built it, you would always get the full res back. I'm not sure if it's the same now.
Okay.
But what Mista used to do in that is when the opponent's scout was nearby, he would be building a stable to, for example, to 80%. And then as soon as it was out of the line of sight of the scout, he'd delete it.
Dude, they better.
I saw it so many times, dude. I saw it so many times. And no one else was doing it. It was just him. And I always, you could always see him with a little half smile doing it. That was early stages of AoE4. I don't know if it's the same now, but
was
so funny.
I would guess that they fixed that because that's pretty OP. But that's smart. That's smart.
Yeah. But no one else was taking advantage of it, right? It's the same thought process as the flag on the dock.
So Heartt scouting. He hasn't actually confirmed that Viper's docked the south, but he saw that house, which usually is a house you build on the way to the dock. So he might be assuming. Hasn't seen a barracks yet. Didn't see Viper was on gold. Viper's not on gold. And now Heartt is bringing a vill. But from my perspective, the fact he didn't scout Viper's actual dock location might be a problem. Because Viper's
he's not going to assume that Viper's over here.
Yeah,
that's really that's quite smart from Viper to put the dock over there rather than the right side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And look at where he's building the house. Like, this is very deliberate where he built that house, just so he can scout.
So I don't know if you saw it, but Dark did the palisade trick again. It didn't end up working out because he didn't do the whole thing, but he built palisades to block dock foundations on the shoreline.
I like that, but it's just so much effort and it never works.
Yeah,
like, I remember trying to do that in a houseboat, and it's just like you spend the first 4 minutes doing that, and it just they find the spot.
Yeah, and that's what happens.
Here comes Seville. Here comes Seville. Viper should be focusing on this area. Oh man, she threaded the needle, and Hearttt realizes he's in trouble. Goes for the dock. Viper trying to block it. He can't.
Now, it will be tough for this Vil because the Vil's got to build the palisades and also complete the dock, but that should be a completed dock from Hearttt. This is actually where I want Hearttt to make one fire galley and stop.
Yep.
Maybe. Because I want Viper to make
really
2
like
docks here or something.
I like the fact Viper didn't try and go for the galley either. I've seen so many people go for a galley here, like, oh, the Vil's stuck. I can maybe make her build and the dock won't go up, but the dock always goes up.
Yep.
Go for the fire galley instead.
Who wins between Byzantines and Portuguese fire galley? More HP versus faster firing?
Well, Byzantines recently got a nerf to their faster firing.
Ooh, Viper's scout goes down. That is a really big deal. And depending on the micro here, both players could lose their villager as well. Viper's is weaker, but Viper has the fire there. Hearttt, do you go for it?
He's going for it. He's going for it. They both die together. Never mind.
That was not a good move from Hearttt. You gotta know, dude.
You're fired.
He's truly fired. I really think the biggest deal there is not the Vil, but it's actually the fact that he lost the scout. He won't be able to see what Viper's plan is here, and he doesn't know that Viper's going scouts.
He doesn't know about that at all. And that gold from Hearttt, like, Heartt's space is wide open here. Wide open.
Yep, so Viper could eventually lose his fish. We still have to keep an eye on that. Hearttt will try and dock in the east right now. That'll take time. And
Vipers should be sending a villager forward for that pond, right? I think if you know the dock is there, it's a good decision if you have the scouts.
Yeah, he might. His scouts are just kind of waiting right now. Almost like he is being patient, and he is going to dock the west. So we'll have docks in every single corner soon. There's Viper's scouts, and Hearttt doesn't know what he's up against here. He had no clue the scouts were coming out. Thought he had time to wall up. Didn't have spearmen in the right positions. It's a very open map, and nice job from Viper there. Nice snipe.
Really good stuff. Hearttt does get the quick walls up, but he can't get the full wall up. And Viper's got the dock on the right side now, so he's going to start expanding his fish. Dock is already on the left there from Hearttt as well. Although he's putting all of his wood into the quick walls at the moment.
Yeah.
And he does have some spears, and he's got some skirmishers. So I'm not sure that Viper can really get that much more damage, but still, look at all the walls he forced out. The distraction, everything. It's really, really nice going for the scouts, the unexpected scouts in this situation.
The thing is, anytime I'm watching Byzantines, if the res collected is even in mid-feudal,
that's a problem.
That's a problem for the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good position for Byzantines. They just want to make it to Castle Age not being behind, and then they're one of the best civs. So that's why Heartt's walling. He will complete the walls, at least on the left side. And has had more fishing ships than Viper. Viper was later to adding the fish because he had to react to the attack from Hearttt in the south.
Viper temporarily getting pushed off the berries a little bit. He's going to fight with the villas. He's got some skirms. He should be fine.
Yeah, Hearttt doesn't know... Again, just back to not having a scout, he really doesn't know the transition from Viper yet, so he thinks his tiny army can advance forward, but he runs right into the skirms now, and now that army could be doomed. The Viper scouts
fish are being added, though. 3 docks producing fish now from Viper.
Yeah.
So he's attempting to use his wood. He knows that, probably doesn't have as many fish as he should have at the moment because he let that 1 dock go down. But still, he should be able to control this, get the fishing numbers up, and then the eco will start scaling ahead for him. But at the moment, it's still ahead for Hearttt. And that, like you said, that's really nice for Byzantines.
I also think it's good for Byzantines if Viper's heavy on scouts and skirms, because Byzantines love their cheap camels. So another game where Hearttt actually makes more skirms than I'm expecting. He pops out, snipes the skirm, has the spears here still. Viper's micro, not quite as good as Heartt's. And yeah, Hearttt can click up.
The Castle Age timing here is going to be really unfortunate for Viper. Uh, And the berries are still kind of exposed at the front. The whole right side of his base is exposed, and it's Viper. So you know he's probably not going to prioritize walling that much here. It's a few walls going down, but still open.
I am shocked that once Hearttt lost his scout, Viper never made a move to try and dock and take the fish from Hearttt in the north, right? Like, that's such a glaring opening there. But it's transitioned in towards land. And dude, that's where Hearttt thrives, man. He's got enough fishing ships to be happy with. He's on his way up. And he does have a stable. Now, I'm concerned. I saw there was a hole between that long house wall next to his berries earlier. I don't think he noticed that. And the gold as well looks very vulnerable. So if Hearttt starts to lose fights here, his base could be really awkward compared to Viper's.
I think he's going to hold the pressure forward, though. I mean, once those camels come out, they kind of take care of Viper's entire army, right?
Viper needs to wall.
Until a crossbar upgrade comes in.
Yep.
Well, yes. How many times have we said that, though?
Yeah, he'll quick wall. He'll quick wall everything from, like, 2 nights. But I think those preemptive walls just don't always happen for him these days.
Also, so much wood and no more fishing ships. Like, got a ton of wood in the bank. You could fish on the right side. He's sending the villager forward finally for potentially a dock. But most of the fish are already gone from that pond in the north.
Okay, Hearttt is checking for holes. I think that's why his spearman's going back. A hole in the wall for either here is just brutal. Could really throw their eco balance off. Heartt's still open. Hearttt reaches Castle Age faster. He will get a lot of extra vision with the Byzantines here.
Gonna be Cav Archers for Viper.
Cav Archers. Okay.
Yeah, he's adding the second range. Bloodlines is on the way, but that's Cav Archers against Byzantines. Cheap camels, cheap skirms.
Cav Archers against
scorpions.
Cav Archers against skirms round 2 for Viper here. What? Maybe he goes for his own skirms. I don't know. But here comes the pressure. There's some preemptive walling from Viper. And skirms would have destroyed his eco if he didn't have the walls up in time. Probably won't complete the houses. But Heartt's here. Hearttt did not spot Viper, or no, I'm wrong. He did spot Viper just off screen there with those camels. Look at that vision, man. Byzantines are insane with that.
He doesn't see the dock, though.
Oh, and the skirms are going through. The skirms are going through. Viper has no army here, and Viper's not fully walled, and Hearttt is going to dive through. This is horrible for Viper, man. And look how weak some of these vills are, too, from earlier. This is amazing for Hearttt.
The stable is up, though. The stable is up. He's almost in Castle Age, but there's a lot of weak vills here. That's 1 vill down, 2, 3, 4 here. Oh, God. The skirm's getting insane value. 5. This is like a repeat of last game, man.
Yeah.
6 villagers down.
Super sloppy,
Viper.
man.
He wasn't ready for the skirms.
Super sloppy. The camels try to follow from Hearttt, but Viper does drop the house. And normally you don't want to lose your army, but in this case, it's completely fine to trade this much off. Viper's villagers are also trapped building that TC, I think.
Oh my goodness. Another one. Another 2 dead, probably, if Heartt's paying attention. Doesn't fire in time, but still so many villagers down. 11 eco kills now for Hearttt, and I'm pretty sure they were all vills.
What's wild, though, is Heartt's about to lose 7 fish. No, he just added a fire galley, so he'll notice, but it still will actually be very playable for Viper. That was not great. He's on 2 TCs, and he'll be killing his opponent's fish with a decent amount of army, though.
And he has finally killed those skirms, those pesky skirmishers that just walked right underneath.
Yeah. But it's like, it actually is very frustrating for me. Like, I've been watching Viper for so long. He's such a good player. And whatever the reasons are, I'm not sure. But, like, that is so... We talked about it, like, 3 minutes prior, man. 3 minutes prior, he was in a good position as long as he's walled up. And Hearttt took every opportunity. Full props to him. And it's back to that narrative after the first series, right? Like, he's just not...
You fully wall up, but you leave the gap under the TC. The classic gap.
Yeah.
Right? Against skirms. They're coming in.
Yeah.
It's not like they're high-value units. He's afraid to lose. He's going to look for whatever value he can get with them. Fishing ships are going down. Heartt's trying to save as many as possible. The fire galley, one of them is there, but the second one is still a ways away. So Viper should be able to take out that and then finally take out the remainder of the fish. But still, we look at the villager count, 38 for Viper, 50 for Hearttt.
Hearttt is not going to know how good his situation is right now because the score, right? The score is really close. He's losing fish. He doesn't have control over the army in the middle anymore. So it's going to feel like he is it's maybe even economically. But right now, with the Byzantine player on 3 TCs, with these eco upgrades, the pressure's on Viper. Viper's got to do some real damage, and he needs to probably use crossbow before Hearttt can get the skirm number up again. Make it a problem for Hearttt that he tossed away those skirms.
Yep. Knights and scouts just kind of patrolling on the left side. So maybe he's looking for the villager over there. Maybe looking for the army. Probably looking for the army from Hearttt. Viper doesn't have vision on that. He finally sees it and goes for the university. So Viper's trying to build up some crossbows, get the water control, build up his fishing eco a little bit, and just slowly make his way back into this game. He knows how bad of a situation he's in.
Yeah, and this is what the Portuguese shine with. They can go for triple gold unit like this. We do have a pause. I assume on your side as well?
No.
Okay.
All I heard was, this is what? And then you muted. I don't know what it is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is your game still running?
Yeah.
Just cast. I'll restart, I guess, because it says waiting for data from game server on my side. And I just out of synced. Okay.
Well, in the middle of the map, we've got Hearttt approaching from the right side with skirmishers and camels. He's also got a monk behind healing. Viper is pushing in with crossbows on the hill. Left side of Heartt's base, there's also a mangonel following up from Viper. Viper has gotten through the walls, but Hearttt house walls behind that. As the camels now push in from Hearttt to try and snipe the mangonel from Viper. Viper's trying to hold with the crossbows.
I'm catching
he gets a
up,
big
guys.
mangonel shot, but the mangonel does go down. As the scouts work away on the skirms and the crossbows clear up the camels. Meanwhile, 13 fish for Viper, 6 fishing ships for Hearttt, but 70 vills for Hearttt and 52 villagers only for Viper. As Viper pushes in and clears up the remaining camels from Hearttt. However, Hearttt took out the mangonel. Hearttt took out a bunch of the scouts from Viper, and Viper can't push into Heartt's base. He's going to try. Heartt's going to go for a defensive tower. We back in yet, Tristan? Or are you still just kind of...
I'm on my way. Can you hear me?
On my way.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just keep going, dude. You got this.
All right. Tower is going up from Hearttt. Viper trying to push him with crossbows. Heartt's now body blocking with a camel and a knight, and the tower goes up on time, but Viper's still in, and Viper kills 1, 2, 3, 4 villagers from Hearttt. As he pushes onto the main gold, the tower is still full of villagers as Hearttt tries to push this away. And the mangonel comes out from Hearttt and gets a huge shot on Viper. Oh my god, bye-bye crossbows, see you later. No longer existing. The crossbows are gone. Absolutely nuked. Are you back in yet?
I'm getting there, bro. I'm still not there.
Crossbows got absolutely flattened, boys and girls. Oh my goodness, you've never seen anything like it. Never have I ever. Unbelievable. Viper still has map control, though. He's still got the position. He's got 3 TCs. Heartt's on 3 TCs. Suddenly, the eco units are 80 for Hearttt and 78 for Viper. And Viper is still sniping villagers on the woodline. So Hearttt, took his foot off the pedal a little bit. Foot off the gas, and Viper's been able to take advantage of that. However, utilizing the cheaper Imperial Age timing, the Byzantines are now on the way to Imperial Age. So Hearttt is going to be up a lot faster than Viper. And Viper, I don't think he can do anything else in the Castle Age just yet. So Heartt's managed to defend. 84 eco units, 83 for Viper. But Imperial Age is on the way for one, and it's not on the way for the other. Viper is currently making crossbows from 3 archery. Are we in yet?
I'm pretty much there, dude. I'm pretty much there. Okay. You are absolute legend there. Also, that was a massive mangonel shot. I thought you were exaggerating.
Huge,
I thought you were exaggerating.
Massive,
holy crap, dude.
Never before seen, dude.
Wow. All right. Well, yeah, we're in.
Your audience got to see that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll splice that together later from your side. My apologies, people. I don't know what happened, but looking good for Hearttt. Like, we're still in a situation. Viper's got to make something happen here, and Heartt's going to walk forward to build a forward castle. Man, if that goes up and that leads to more castles here from Hearttt, this is going to be so tough for Viper to stop.
I don't know if Viper's read the score switching back and forth constantly. I don't know if Viper's read the Imperial Age timing from Hearttt. He might think that Heartt's clicked up when the score switched there.
Yeah.
Back and forth. But, like, Hearttt clicked up 2 minutes ago. And this is going to be really tough. And now he goes for a castle to defend the gold, but that's within range of that hill. from the early Trebs. And he is still not even close to clicking up himself.
And I guess things got hairy there for Hearttt, but what a great job. It all comes back to early castle. The damage he did, the eco he set up, and then he's just had all the late game things locked down. Big raid from Viper, though. Yeah. I don't know if it's
not big enough.
I don't know if it's good enough. Yeah.
Other golds that Hearttt can take. And Imperial Age comes in, and now Viper's like, oh, crap. What do I do? It's still open on the right side as Viper tries to take stone over there, too.
Yeah, Hearttt is making a treb. A lot of times you'll just see conscription there, but really smart from him. I also love this other castle. He's just going to control the middle of the map. And Viper
so nice.
taps out,
GG,
calls the GG.
Yeah, you have the castle up on the left. The Trebs can range you from the hill. Then you get the castle on the hill on the right. Byzantine castles, it's over, dude. Yeah. And that's really well played from Hearttt. And that's another 2-1. Viper goes down.
Yeah, I think like that attack that Viper ended up having, obviously on my side, I was doing a lot of speeding up, but that attack was great. Now, the crossbows weren't. I'm not sure the reasoning behind that, but that attack, if that attack happens and the skirms don't get into his base and they don't kill those 10 vills and they don't delay that TC, I think that might be the difference between winning or losing this game for Viper, right?
But there's nothing that could there's nothing that could have stopped those skirms, Tristan. I mean, there's absolutely nothing, no preventative measures.
That's
you
true.
Can't stop those skirms.
That's true. There's nothing like a wall or a house that could have happened.
It's not possible.
Yeah. Well, listen, this is huge for Hearttt. I and everyone probably thought Viper first in the group, Hearttt second in the group. Now, Hearttt 3-0'd his first round. He now beats Viper 2-1, so he's got 5 wins. And Viper has 2 wins out of 6 after the first 2 rounds. Viper has always won the group in TTL, but maybe he's got a bit of a target on his back right now. And he's really going to be in a position where he has to step it up come the final 3 weeks. I mean, even if Viper comes back and gets some good wins, which I expect, Dave, the odds are lower that he gets a bye to the quarterfinals now. He may fall into the playoffs where things get dangerous. So
imagine having to play Viper in the playoffs.
yeah, right?
Yikes.
So I just
absolutely yikes.
We had a lot of variety in the series, but again, my hat's got to come off to the players who've come in, seen these opportunities that they can take against Viper, and they've been able to take it. According to the stats, now, this isn't factoring in the fact that it's Viper versus eventually Daniel or Valis or freaking Andy, but Viper has a 50% chance of being relegated right now.
No.
But that's what the stats say, Dave. 50%.
Yeah, well, the stats are dumb, dude.
Okay.
I mean, like, you look at the matchups remaining to him now. There's not many clowny maps here, not many closed maps, right? And I think Valis is even going to struggle against that. I could see Viper 3-0ing Valis, 3-0ing Daniel because it's Daniel.
Yep.
And Viper kind of has a really good history against him.
Yep.
And then
Viper
2-1
Andy
against Andy.
Yeah, Viper Andy. Now, let me ask you this. Hearttt, he's already played Viper, he's beat him. He already played Daniel, he 3-0'd him. Hearttt has to play Andy. Hearttt has to play Valis. Hearttt has to play Dark. Do you think odds are really high for Hearttt to win the group now?
Heartt's winning the group, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe more pressure on Hearttt to deliver this type of results consistently, but that's really good. There's also Dark, who's played very well. He beat Viper already, and we'll see what he does against the others, but he will play Daniel. He will play Andy. He will play Hearttt eventually. So maybe like Dark Hearttt, which is the final round of this group, ends up deciding what happens there at the top. But so far, a little bit of a slow start there from the Viper, in my opinion. And just game 1, I was like, okay, this is the Viper that I really wanted to see. But then game 2 and game 3, some tendencies just crept in where it was just a little sloppy. The openings were kind of weird and adaptive. Not a lot of confidence at times. That's just my take, but
here comes the training montage.
Maybe I'm being too critical.
Someone put the music on. Viper's going to train. It's a training arc coming up.
Actually, Hearttt and Dark should apologize to freaking Andy, Daniel, and Valis, because freaking Andy
should have just let him coast, bro.
Freaking Andy, Daniel, and Valis now have to face a Viper who is under a lot of pressure. Yeah.